So here I have my buttercrunch red salt and Grand Rapids lettuce. I winter sowed these. Let's see. I don't have the date on here, but I'm sure I did it in January sometime. So let's go ahead and open these guys up. Would you look at these beauties? I can't believe I have so many lettuce heads. There has to be over 40 lettuce heads in here, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in the garden and separate them so that I could go ahead and plant them out. But I'm going to let them sit out for several days while this container remains open so that way it could get used to the weather outside. So after letting them acclimate to the weather, I'm going to go ahead and plant them out into the section of this garden that I have not worked yet. I'm so glad that I pre-tagged this when I first planted the seeds in these jugs. I love it when I find a way to simplify tasks. So this way I don't have to lug out like if a Sharpie marker is heavy. What I'm trying to say is I don't need any more equipment to be putting in my pocket so that I can label as I'm gardening, because my hands get dirty. Who wants to label when your hands are filthy? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get this out two-handedly rather than with just the one hand because it's not working for me. So I'll show you what this looks like after I'm done taking it out. But the roots look amazing, so this is very encouraging, which is a great sign. So these roots are looking so good. Even though they look all wadded up and together and just kind of knotted together, they're going to be so easy to take apart. I'm so excited about these results. They're looking so good. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you how I separate these. As you may have noticed, I'm not being so precious with the root separation here. And that's because they'll be just fine once I start planting them out. But the roots are looking so great. They're intact. They're not hard to take apart. You would think that they're really tangled and intertwined with one another, but it's really not a hard chore to take them apart. As you can see, I'm just taking them apart one-handedly and they're doing just fine. Okay, so I am finished. Here is my pile of lettuce heads. There's over 40 lettuce heads in here just from planting them in one jug. I love bulk seeding my lettuces. I will never do it in individual containers again. Now here I have some Merlot lettuce that I grew on the 27th, or is it the 28th? I think it's the 28th of January of this year. And they are looking really good. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. I also have some Mizuna and some kohlrabi, a purple variety and a green variety that I have here. And they're coming up as well. And this is just in a tray that I got my food from Applebee's. So I repurposed it to do some winter sown in, and it did great. So I'm going to go ahead and take this Merlot lettuce, and start planting it out with the rest of the lettuce heads that I separated. Okay, so I separated all of my lettuce heads. Let's go ahead and start planting out the first batch that I separated. And what I do is I plant them in small rows. I plant them really close to each other. I would say about 4 inches apart from each other because I do a cut and come again and crop. So a couple reasons why I love to grow lettuce crops this way is because when you have lettuce heads growing really close together, it shades out any weeds from germinating and sprouting up. That is a huge perk to this. Weeds in the garden are such a nuisance. They take nutrients from the plants, the crops that you want to grow and eat. So minimizing that is the best thing you can do. So if you're following my journey on planting out new produce into the garden every week, you will know that I plant in section by section in each garden bed. So that means that I am weeding, I'm inspecting the soil as I'm planting out, looking out for any pests that could be a problem in the future. And I am sad to report that I found a lot of pests in this part of the garden. So I will be going to Lowe's to pick up some insecticides. So it's a little discouraging that I found some insects that are not beneficial to this garden. But I will show you how my garden is looking so far. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to go ahead and plant them out and be very proactive of managing these pests. So I'll show you what I get at the store, get this problem resolved. So all of my baby greens are in trouble right now. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the pests that I have. One of them is the root maggot fly that I've seen. They lay their eggs in the garden, and then their larva is what eats the roots of any baby produce that you plant. But the most heartbreaking crop that you could plant when you have these in your garden is any root vegetable. I planted some rutabagas last year in this garden and found a whole bunch of root maggots inside of them. So they were beautiful, beautiful rutabagas, only filled with maggots. So yeah, speaking of the devil, here is the offender. So to Lowe's we go. So really quickly, I picked up some diatomaceous earth, some neem oil concentrate, and then a sprayer. I also picked up some BT that I will be using as well. And now that we're back in the garden, I want to tell you about another pest that I found, and it's called a root knot nematode. It does the same thing as the root maggot does. It just loves roots and any root crop that you put down. So I'm glad I got all these insecticides so that I could get this taken care of right away. So now that I can calm down, I am going to go ahead and start planting it out and play some music while I'm doing that. Now I am done with all of my mixed greens. So now that I have all these planted out, I'm going to go ahead and separate my Merlot lettuce and start planting those out. These Merlot lettuces look so good. The roots are intact and they look better than the mixed greens that I just planted out. So these are looking pretty promising to be really good lettuce varieties. Just take a look at these beauties. I'm so excited to get these in the ground. The last thing I wanted to touch up on this video was how to harvest lettuce. So what you do is harvest all the outer leaves and leave a few of the inner leaves in the center so that it has an opportunity to photosynthesize. And this will promise to actually let you harvest throughout the weeks to come. So these are such an easy crop to grow, and I would highly recommend to grow them because you get so much out of them. Well, friends, I think I covered the gamut on this crop, but I will see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.